All right. Not a great night, obviously. And first of all, give Wofford a lot of credit. I thought they were the aggressor early and came out and banged those 2 threes and really got going. I thought their energy was good off of that, and they saw the ball go in a lot early. And I think they were shooting 66%, pretty early in the game. And unfortunately, we came out on our heels. And typically in games like this, when you do that, it's hard to kind of change that energy. But 2 for 17 the first half from 3, and then it felt like we missed about 6 or 7 wide open layups. You go down 20 in the tunnel, and I thought we came out. I was proud of our effort in the second half. I thought we scored more than twice the points that we scored in the first half, but it was just too late. The margin, the lack of defensive intensity, the lack of what we needed to do to defend them better. This team's been really good at guarding the 3, and you look at this game and the Greensburg game. They hit 13 threes tonight. We hit 6, really. I mean, Chuck hit those 2 late when the game was over. We really hit about 6 threes in the meat of the game. Well, that's a 7-3 difference, and that's 21 points. You lose by 19, and it was very similar in Greensboro. They hit a lot of threes. We couldn't buy one. You're not beating people doing that. So you got to have the confidence to step in there and make shots. You got to have the mentality to deal with, what they're trying to do and the physicality they're trying to play with, and you got to be able to answer that. You got to be able to deal with that. And by the time we started to do that, the game and the margin was a little bit too far away from us. But credit our guys. They stayed in the fight, and they kept battling. We gave up 20 offensive rebounds, which is ridiculous, but we did get 18. And so, I think that there's some things that these last couple of games we got a little adversity. We're not playing as well. That's clear. Usually seasons are basically at a lot of times they come down to how you deal with this adversity, and this is something we got to respond to and we got to figure it out. So, if teams can just go in there and tell their teams to just push us around and just put their hands on us and just start yelling and talking and yelling out KYP and all that. Like if that stuff is going to rattle us, then you're going to get the outcome that we got tonight, right? You got to be able to just go play your game, and for a lot of the year we've done that, and tonight we didn't. We got out of character, and we let some of the noise just get to us. And look, that's something that we're going to see more of that. You know what I mean? And that's what we in past years we've been able to handle a lot of that. And I trust this group. This is we haven't had a ton of adversity yet this year. And this is our adversity, and a lot of times it makes you better if you let it. And so we got to look at this honestly. We got to see that we got pushed around, we got physically bullied tonight, and I thought mentally, obviously, we didn't play with the mindset that we got to play with, and we got to improve there.
Coach, it was fairly obvious that you played with a lot more fire in the second half. But ultimately, Wofford missed 14 shots in the second half and got 9 offensive rebounds, and it really doesn't matter how much fire you play with. If that happens, it's almost impossible to come back. Can you speak to that?
Well, that's what we were talking about each time out. Like, it was clear we came out with more fire, at least not looking timid and scared on finishing plays around the basket. Like we made a couple layups, and Garrett finished that layup, and then Cooper got that dunk, and Ben drove one, and it was clear, like, okay, offensively we're starting to kind of figure some things out, and then they'd just go down there and, either they'd score it, or if they didn't score it, they got the rebound. And, you can't make runs unless you can string stops together. And unfortunately, Scott, like, we couldn't. We just once that team gets to feeling good, they're really good. And they felt great all night, and we did nothing to change that. And we allowed them to feel good, and they kept. I mean, there just weren't many misses. I mean, it felt like you said. I mean, when they did miss it, they got more than half the misses, and they shoot 40% from 3 on high volume. Like, you hit 13 threes on 32 attempts, you're going to win most of those games. And and then they get all those offensive rebounds. I thought we did a poor job there.
Once you get into conference play. Each team knows you pretty well. What have you seen that our offense the ball seems to be sticking a little bit on film? Is there something that maybe that teams have seen that they've been able to kind of enhance that ball slowing down, or is it more the teams just not as crisp offensively?
I mean, I don't know if I don't know if missing 6 layups at the start in the first half has any, we had some point blank layups. I mean, Chuck was wide open, PJ wide open, Coop wide open, Davis wide open, Are people doing things different? I mean, like they played off of Ben, they played off of Garrett some, it's nothing we haven't seen. It's not like this stuff isn't rocket science. You have to be able to get in the game and figure out. They didn't change their D in the second half. We scored 42, right? We scored 42 points in the second half. Like, it's mentality. And, their plan was to come out and be physical with us and to push us around a little bit and, get in our bodies. And it was the same thing Greensboro wanted to do. And so, at the end of the day, what I want to go look at the shots. Now, some of the shots we took rush. There's no doubt. Like, their physicality bothered us. We got out of character. We weren't really patient. We didn't get as many cuts as we need to get. And, but then you get a back cut and PJ just misses a layup, right? But then in the second half, I thought the ball moved much better. I thought really at the end of the day, the ball was driven much better. And like, you've got to do things to get the ball in the paint. But the paint touch count at halftime was 25-24. I mean, it was like they had 18 points in the paint. We had 8, right? So, and then we're 2 for 17 from 3. And then they had made, I guess they made 5 threes in the first half. So that's 9 points there. So, I mean, paint points plus 10, 3-point line plus 9, like, there you go, right? And so had we made some layups, instead of being 18-8, it's got a chance to be 20-18 in the paint, and you're going into halftime, and there's a lot lower margin. So for me as a coach, I got to look at shot quality. I got to look and see what shots were open, were we getting the shots that we wanted. And but man, like, it's a mental game. And part of what we have to do is we have to get good looks, but then you got to be mentally strong enough and confident enough to go ring the bell.
Coach, in the wins this year, obviously that it's been a team thing. Anybody can contribute, but were they concentrating on Nick at all tonight? Because when he hit that 3-pointer early in the second half, I looked down to see what he was now from 3. He was 1 for 1 from 3. He didn't take a 3-pointer in the first half. Did they do something specifically with him on their defense to kind of deny him a little bit tonight?
I mean, they just got physical with him, and they committed to at times when they needed to, and they did a good job communicating their defense and knowing who was where and what they needed to do. They were locked in. I mean, like I said, they played really well. And, look, I mean, Nick can shoot the ball. So it's just like when we guard good shooters, like, you're trying not to let good shooters get good looks. That's kind of what we got to sit around and figure out. And tonight, our goal, for what we wanted to do was to try, anytime you're guarding them, they move the ball well, right? Just like we do. There's a lot of similarities. And tonight, like, they were getting 2 on the ball more, and they were playing out of those advantages. And let's be honest, I mean, they were hitting some shots. And I thought that kind of got them juiced up, kind of got them going. And we just, by the time we kind of regrouped, man, it just we couldn't get ourselves going. But every team's going to try to play physical with Nick. I mean, like, it's what you should do. Make him uncomfortable. And so, but they were able to clog the paint up with some guys, and that's some stuff that we got to continue to solve. And we got to make sure. For what we're doing and what we're trying to do, it's our job to get him looks. Obviously PJ got 12 looks tonight total. Nick got 7 looks tonight total. So those 2 guys get 19 shots. You'd like to see that a little bit higher. But at the end of the day, their 2 best players got 10 shots and 12 shots. They got 22 shots. So, their two top players got a few more shots than our 2. But, at the end of the day, like, they got 19. The problem is we got to hit a few more of them.
Coach, you only have 5 turnovers tonight, but it seemed like all those turnovers were live ball turnovers in crucial situations, which led to, I think, points the other way. Do you just talk about, I mean, that is a good thing, but then it's sort of bittersweet when you have live ball turnovers against a team like this. And on the flip side, I thought at times that you guys defended well in the press. Can you talk about those 2 things?
Yeah, I mean, it's. I thought we took care of the ball well tonight. We had 5. We forced 10. Points off of turnovers. we only beat them by 1 there. We had double the production in terms of turning them over. We weren't able to convert as many as we need to. I thought ball security was fine. A lot of times you can dribble into gaps on those guys, and they'll try to raid your ball, and they'll do different things like that. I thought we did a pretty good job getting it out. I mean, look, I don't want to oversimplify this, but we at the end of the day, like, we took a lot of threes, 34. We made 8, and 2 of those came at the very end of the game when the game's way out of balance. Okay, so if volume was down and we weren't getting the looks, I would be a little bit concerned. But at the end of the day, like, ball security was good. We got the shot numbers we wanted. I mean, we shot 69 shots tonight. Like, we got the ball up a lot. The problem is we only made 23 total shots, and some of that you got to give them credit, but also some of it just because of the aggression they played with and them getting us on our heels. We've just looked a little timid these last couple of games, and we've been playing with a lot of confidence, and we got to go get it back, and we got to play our way through this. And so I got full belief in our guys. This game won't define our season. How we handle this, how we respond to the adversity of this. Will we let this develop us? Will we let this define us? Are we going to be a team that you can push around? And or are we going to be a team that, hey, we're going to be tough, and if you're going to be physical, we got to screen you better, and we got to be strong with the ball, and we got to be confident. When we step into balls, we got to be confident to step in and make shots. And it's a part of the year where we're 14-3. We're not off to the best start in league for what we would like to be. We're 2-2. It's going to put us behind, a couple teams. Obviously, they're going to have a little bit better record earlier, but this will all be settled by how we finish. And it's one of those things where we got to keep learning about ourselves. We got to learn how we handle hard moments, and having to go all the way to, basically January 4th before you lose your second game. You've played 2 months of the season. You hadn't had to deal with this much, and so I think in some ways this. Not saying I enjoy this. I mean, I'm as mad about this performance as I've been in a while. But like, maybe this is good for us. Like, we're gonna have to stare this straight in the face, and we're gonna have to figure this out. We're gonna have to play tougher. We're gonna have to play stronger, mentally, physically, and we got to go be ball players. And when we did that in the second half, I thought we looked a lot better. But unfortunately, we didn't do it to start the game.
Coach, and to that point, you got to do all those things, not in 3 days like normal, but now 48 hours. You got to be out there against another always physical team in ATSU. How do you teach, and also how do you get ready for the next one? And lots of times after a game like this, you want to get back out there as soon as possible, but there's stuff you got to obviously get better at. So
yeah, I mean, look, we're stuck by the schedule. There's nothing. I mean, first 3 on the road, and then first home game gets pushed back, and weather, we don't control any of it, So we gotta take what we have, and we got class all day tomorrow. We got to get the game plan in, and but the one thing I'll tell you is our mentality has to change. I mean, that's just the reality of it. We can go walk through ETSU's actions, and we can go do all the scouting report, and we can do all that. We got to come to the arena ready to fight on Wednesday, and that's the reality of what this is, and so that's a decision. I mean, we'll go through the schemes. Staff does a great job with all that, putting game plans together. But hey, who's going to be the more aggressive team? Who's going to come out here and play harder? Who's going to exert more energy on defense? Right? That's what wins games, and we've got to understand that we cannot compromise there. And if we miss a couple shots, so what? Keep playing hard. But tonight we didn't compete out of the gate at the level that we need to in a game like that. And look, it's going to happen in the course of a year. And for most parts of the year, we have competed, and we have been the more physical team, and we have been the team that's been tougher in critical moments of games. But tonight we weren't. And now it's kind of bit us a little bit these last couple. And I think it's going to be great for us to kind of respond to.
Coach, I think despite it not being a good night overall, there was some good body language, from guys like Davis, Molnar, down the stretch when they were encouraging guys, and that wasn't the case a lot last year. Can you just talk about? I mean, while it's a tough loss. Can you talk about, as a coach, obviously you would have to like to see that.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to give our team credit for that. Like, I mean, we didn't quit, and I hadn't been in a lot of halves like that. I mean, Chuck rattled that 3 in late. I mean, if not for that, we'd have been 1 for 16 from 3 with like 7 missed layups. And so it felt like nothing was going well, right? Nothing was going in. And, you know, they didn't pack it in, right? And I thought Charles Johnston played a very good game. I thought Davis Molnar did some really good things. And I thought we kept trying to compete. You know, we didn't play well enough. I'm not saying that or implying that. We still gave up a ton of offensive rebounds, and you know, didn't play with the necessary physicality down there. But you know, our kids didn't quit. Our bench energy was into it. You know, we asked them to run around and press a little bit. We forced some turnovers, but at that point, like, you know, the margin was in their favor, and we couldn't get any. We never got it in the single digits because we couldn't get enough stops and rebounds, but we at least started playing with a little bit more confidence on offense. So, look, we got a good group of guys, and I got full belief in them. We'll figure this out. You know, we'll get through all this. It's not going to be doomsday around here. I can promise you that. These guys care. They want to win. They want to work. We're in a little rough patch, and is that we just can't make a shot right now, and it's got into our heads, and we're letting that affect our defense? Maybe so. You know, I mean, that's 3 games in a row now. We've shot the ball poorly on a team that's shot the ball pretty well all year. But like, we got to grow from that. You know, we can't let our ability to make shots then push us into bad defense on one end of the floor and not having the physicality to clean boards up in the way we need to. So, you know, I trust this group. I love working with this group, and you know, they got great hearts. They got great intents. We did not play well tonight. We did not coach well tonight. We did not come out with the energy that this game requires, and we got to fix that.